Hi, it's Debbie Burkell here, and I am so happy to bring you this article that came through me the other day, and it felt so important that I wrote it out, but I'm also doing this recording in case you don't have the time to read the whole article. So I know it's been a challenging time for you. It's been a challenging time for me. It's been a time of incredible chaos and turmoil and lots of confusion. What I haven't let you know up until now is how challenging and difficult this last year has been for me. It has been a year of pain, a year of fear, a year of struggle, chaos, confusion, complete lack of clarity. There have been moments and times when I just wanted to give up. Now, I know that's happening for lots of people too. I know that was happening for a lot of my clients too. But for me, it's a little embarrassing to tell you this because as a coach, as a guide, as a healer, I often feel like I should be able to find my way out of these things. And yet, I used every tool I had during this time and could not get myself out to the other side. I mean, the interesting thing is, I was able to help my clients and I was able to help my friends kind of step above the confusion and the chaos that they were in and the stuckness that they were in. But for whatever reason, I could not do it for myself. I used every tool that was in my toolbox, and yet I still had night after night after night of fear-induced sleepless nights. What I didn't realize until now was that I did use one really powerful tool, and that powerful tool was setting intentions and being totally committed to finding my way out, to finding out what was going on and how to get to the other side of it. And I'm here to tell you that I have found the answer to that, and I'm here to share that with you. So, what happened was around spring of last year, synchronistically, certain books started to show up in my life out of nowhere. Friends would come by and they would suggest books, and something inside of me would say, I have to read that. Then another book would come along inside of me would go, I have to read that. Classes would come forward that didn't even jive with the books that I was reading, but I had a knowing that I had to take these classes. Most of them were energy related classes, but they were also expansive kinds of classes. And I thought they would help me get out of my funk, but they didn't until recently. And recently, everything I read and everything I learned came together and gave me this massive amount of clarity. And this is what I received. The clarity that I received is that there are actually two aspects of all of us. There's two aspects of me, there's two aspects of you. One aspect of us is our ego self. The ego self, because we don't have a better name for it, we'll just call it the ego self. The ego self is the part of us that pretty much has control over us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it is the part of us that is rooted in fear. It is rooted in self-condemnation. It's rooted in self-criticism. It's judgmental. It gives us the sense and the feeling that we're never doing the right thing, that we're never doing enough, that we have to keep trying harder, that we're unworthy of what we want, that what we want is maybe selfish, or who are we to want that kind of a thing. That's sort of the voice of the ego. And I think that a really great acronym for the ego is edging goodness out. You cannot let the goodness of life into my life as long as I am letting my ego self control me and tell me that I'm not enough and that I'm always doing the wrong thing. So the ego uses fear as its main tool, and fear is the root of all suffering. Fear can take us over in a heartbeat, and it speaks to us in words that make us feel paralyzed, that make us feel stuck, that eventually want us to just give up. Fear gets in the way of our letting in all of the beautiful things in life, especially our freedom, because the ego fear tells us that we do not have the right to have freedom and that we can't trust ourselves in that freedom. So for most of us, the ego has been running our show and taken over our lives forever. It is that limiting energy that keeps us from being able to create the fun, the freedom, the prosperity, the love, the vibrant health, and that well-being that we really want. It keeps us stuck in the negativity of life. And even when we believe that we are focused on the positive, it is so truly cunning, baffling, and powerful because we are not focused on the positive. We are afraid of our thoughts. We are afraid of thinking negatively, so we're still in the fear. And fear is the reason we procrastinate, the reason we stay stuck, and the reason why we finally give up. But here's the good news. The ego is not our only source of guidance and power, nor does it have to run our lives. There is another aspect of us, and this aspect lies within us too. It holds our highest truth. It has the answer to everything we want to know and the power to create whatever it is that we truly desire. It is the opening to receiving the goodness of life. This aspect is amazing. It sees you through the eyes of love, and it is always here to support you, to nourish you, and to nurture you. And we call this aspect of ourselves the true self. This is the real us. This is the truth of who we are deep within us. Sometimes called the soul, sometimes called your spirit, but it resides within you, and it is you. It is the you without the mask of the ego over it. The voice of the true you is much quieter than the ego voice. It is so much more challenging to hear it, unless you're in a state of emergency. In a state of emergency, the only voice you will ever hear is your true self voice. And I know that you have all heard it at least once or more in your lifetime. When you connect with that true self voice and you begin to hear it and you let yourself listen to it, follow its guidance, trust it, that voice gets louder, the ego voice gets softer, and a lot of your fear will begin to dissipate and go away. That is the answer, the true answer, to how to move out of the ego's resistance to our living a life we love. So I was told that by connecting with the true me on a regular basis, listening, trusting, and following its guidance, I will be led out of the abyss of pain and suffering that I was living through. And that's exactly what happened for me. I am now having the clarity. I am now releasing a lot of my body pain. And I'm speaking to you about this in a very authentic and transparent way because I no longer feel that shame and guilt that comes up with the ego self that says I should be something other than what I am. So, we have been led to create a way for you to connect with your true self on a regular basis, to begin to let it speak to you so you can start to see it, hear it, and remember the truth that it is within you. One of the big pieces of clarity that I received was to help you, if you choose this, to connect with your true self so that you can start moving out of the paralysis, the fear, and the struggle that comes up from your ego self. I was told that by giving you a daily reminder of the voice of the true you, that you will begin to remember that this is the truth of who you are. And this is what will help you create the life that you want to create by shifting you out of the ego limitation, the ego fear, and the ego criticism. The true you is really your only truth. So as you begin to read these daily messages, very short, very inspirational, very motivating, you will begin to start to hear that voice in a much louder way in your life. So if you would like to be reminded of the true you, you can subscribe to our new daily offering, which is called The Amazing You, and we are going to send you these emails 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and they will have short little inspirational messages that, again, will help you remember the truth of who you really are. If this is something that calls to you, we just invite you to join us by clicking on the button below and signing up for these free emails. We look forward to connecting with you in that way and bringing you more information coming shortly on how to really activate the true self within you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for reading the email below. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.